Hi, I'm Nikki.
And I'm Laura.
And we are here to help you discover the truth about vaccines. This is a representation of what happens when a pathogen enters the body of a vaccinated individual. The sock represents the pathogen invading the immune system. The monster that triggers the alarm illustrates innate immunity, which is signaling the second line of defense.
Here comes the CDA, which is representing the adaptive immunity. Each of the men in the suits represent memory B and T cells that are trying to fight off the pathogen. This symbolizes an immune cell destroying the antigen and eliminating it from the body. Now we have a brief overview of how vaccines work by protecting people from preventable diseases.
When an individual is injected with a vaccine, they are introducing a weakened or killed antigen or pathogen into their bodies. This is completely safe. The immune system produces antibodies, or proteins, that identify and help remove these antigens should the individual encounter the pathogen later in life. A vaccine functions just as a fire drill does, in which it prepares the body for when it actually does encounter a dangerous situation, such as a preventable disease. Here we have two groups of individuals. Group A is vaccinated and Group B is unvaccinated. The plastic wrap on the vaccinated group represents the immunity induced by the vaccines against the diseases. The M&Ms represent the populations of the two groups. Let's see what happens when vaccine-preventable diseases are introduced to these populations. Meningitis!
Pertussis!
Chickenpox!
Influenza!
Hepatitis B!
Rotavirus!
MMR!
Pneumonia!
Polio! As you can see, the vaccinated group was protected from these diseases, while the unvaccinated group was infected with these illnesses and were either disabled and suffered complications or died as a result of infection.
A common misconception many anti-vaxxers share is their belief that not getting vaccinated is not going to affect others. They attempt to attack those who support vaccines by claiming that if supporters are so sure vaccines work, that not getting vaccinated can in no way harm those who do get vaccinated. Essentially, this is the equivalent of claiming that even though the brakes on my car may not work, they can in no way act as a potential threat to you if you're sure your own car is safe. The message we can take from these scenarios is that choosing to live with risks that pose a threat to you are capable of harming others as well. Essentially, the dangerous effects can all be avoided. You should fix your brakes because although their car might be able to stop short, you will not be able to, and when you hit their car because your brakes failed, you put them in danger. By fixing your brakes, you prevent a collision altogether. Vaccinate yourselves and your children. Getting vaccinated induces immunity in your community, eliminating potential hosts from allowing pathogens to continue growing and being transmitted from person to person. Vaccines prevent those who receive them from contracting vaccine-preventable diseases and suffering from their consequential symptoms.
Unfortunately, not everyone is able to be vaccinated. Those who are immunocompromised, such as cancer patients, organ transplant receivers, pregnant women, and those who suffer from other immunodeficiencies, are not able to receive all immunizations. By vaccinating your child, you can prevent him or her from transmitting a vaccine-preventable disease to an unvaccinated person, ultimately preventing epidemics. Herd immunity works like this. Imagine these M&Ms represent the people in North and South America. The yellow M&Ms symbolize those who are unvaccinated but still healthy. The green are those who are vaccinated and healthy. The red M&M indicates an unvaccinated and infected person or carrier of a vaccine-preventable disease. Although some vaccine-preventable diseases, such as poliomyelitis, are rare in countries such as the United States, the disease is still prevalent in other nations across the globe. If this single red M&M from Africa travels to a different part of the world where polio is not extremely prevalent, the individual is likely to infect others who are not vaccinated. Some countries still do not believe in vaccination or do not have the funds to do so. Therefore, by not getting yourself vaccinated, you are putting many other lives in danger. You are increasing the likelihood of initiating epidemics and furthermore, pandemics.
Many who oppose vaccines do so because they believe that injecting antigens into the body is going to overwhelm their immune system. Some people fear specifically that the body can't handle multiple immunizations in one sitting. Others believe that newborns and infants cannot handle being exposed to the antigens within a vaccine because their immune system has not yet been developed. However, all of these accusations are false. These individuals don't realize that the vaccine schedule has been established because it's been proven to be safe and effective. Certain vaccines are administered together within the first few months of life, such as the DTaP, Hib, and IPV.
Not only are these simultaneous immunizations efficient since they reduce the number of necessary doctor visits, they also ensure early protection by reducing the risk of contracting vaccine-preventable diseases. Although immunizations cost money, they avoid excessive hospital bills and other healthcare costs that would be required had you or a loved one contracted an actual vaccine-preventable disease. The moment a child is born, he or she comes into contact with thousands of bacteria. They're exposed to many more antigens simply by breathing and performing normal daily activities than when they are administered a vaccine. Although the child's immune system may be naive at birth, it is still fully developed at this time and is therefore capable of fighting off infection.
Another point many fail to recognize is that the immune system is constantly producing immune cells, the lymphocytes. Even if a newborn were to be injected with 11 immunizations at once, only 0.1% of the immune system would be used. This points to how insignificant the number of antigens in a vaccine are in comparison to what the body can handle. The immune system cannot be used up by introducing attenuated or killed antigens into the body. Although the total number of vaccines administered to infants has increased, the number of antigens in today's vaccines have considerably decreased. The total number of antigens administered via immunizations before infants reach 2 years of age has been reduced from 3,040 antigens in 1980 to about 150 antigens today.
All in all, be careful when using the internet as a guide to vaccines. Not all the information you have access to is viable. Be sure to use valid and trustworthy references when searching for answers to your questions you may have regarding vaccines. It's normal as a parent to have questions, so don't be afraid to ask your pediatrician for help. Keep in mind that vaccine-preventable diseases most commonly affect infants and that you can protect your child by getting them immunized. Make the right choice and get vaccinated.